What's up, pipe hitters? So we're back out here at the trail today. Today we're going to go over 8 points for successful rucking, hiking, backpacking. I'm going to talk about what that word exactly means, how to do it, how to pack it, what to pack, and some keys to some success that I've had. So I'm going to get here and stretch out, get my gear in order, make sure that we've got everything, do a quick double check. We'll get out here on the trail. See you down the road. All right, guys. Made our first friend on the trail here. Let's take a look at him. Not a very big guy, but definitely a rattlesnake. So we're going to try to scare him off the trail a little bit. There's some dogs and ladies, so we're going to get him motivated. Go on. Go on. Nah, he doesn't want to get motivated. He just wants to coil up and look at me. I don't know if he could actually bite. I don't know if his teeth would be big enough, but it's interesting seeing him out here. All right, dude. Don't bite anybody. Later, bro. All right, guys. So, just had a run-in with a little bit of nature. That was kind of fun. Just a little guy. Nothing too crazy. But we're going to keep our eyes out and see if we can find some more. So today, we're talking about 8 points for successful rucking. So first off, what is rucking? Rucking, you think of army guys in fatigues running down a dirt road in the forest, hating their life, running in formation, singing cadence, flags up front. Every one of them looks like they're asking themselves, the hell am I doing here? What did I sign up for? So ruck actually comes from the German word Rucksack, which a direct translation would be back sack or backpack. If you look at old pictures, World War I, all these German soldiers with their little pointy hats carrying pretty big packs full of supplies to get where they needed to go on the battlefield. Back in those days, supply chain was not what it is today, so to be in an infantry unit, you needed to bring all your sustainment with you. So living, sleeping, eating, combat effectiveness, everything that you needed was on your pack or on a horse. So rucking literally is backpacking. Now the military tries to do it at a given time, speed, 13, 14 minute miles are pretty standard. Not something that you really achieve in the backpacking world. On average, a standard ruck is about 35 to 45 pounds. Yeah, there are some people that in the backpacking civilian world go ultralight, talking about 8 or 9 pound base weight, just nothing. Dropping 30 plus miles in a day, every day for weeks, maybe months on end. See some military units or some schools, guys are loading out 75 pounds, 100 pounds, just grueling. So my frame of thought, 35 to 45 pound max. I can carry everything that I need, sustainment wise, and move over a pretty good distance and to get pretty good exercise. So we're going to talk about some points today. I'm out here on a train and ruck, looking to put down between 15 and 20 miles. So we'll touch base with you down the road. So, how to pack a ruck. I'm not going to get into some exhaustive explanation today, but as a general rule, you want lighter things on bottom, bulky items, soft items. You want heavier things up top and as close to your back as possible. So if we can get a reverse view here, take a look. You'll see a lot of backpacks with zipper pouches down at the bottom. Big, bulky sections of the bag. Really kind of designed for your sleep system. Something that you're not going to need during the day. It's bulky, it's relatively light. All that stuff goes down at the bottom. The further away from your body the weight is, and the further down, the more it's going to act like a fulcrum pulling against your shoulder straps, and you don't want that. That's going to lead to exhaustion in your shoulders, your traps, lead to chafing issues. The more that you can get the weight up and snug against you, the better. A lot of packs, again, you'll find that that's where the hydration pouch is. If you're, if you use a Camelback system, a water hose, if you're into that kind of thing, obviously water's heavy. I'm carrying about 3.5 liters right now. That's between 7 and 8 pounds, give or take. Very dense, kind of like me. So you want that weight high against your back. Then, no matter what you put in it, you want to take all those cinch straps and wail on them. You don't want things jostling around. You don't want things shifting left and right every single step. It's just going to wear you out. You're fighting momentum. You want that pack one with you, like a glove, like a shoe. Shoes that are loose, slip around, lead to chafing and blisters. Same idea. So, high against your back, strap that sucker down. Maybe we'll get into sizing a pack and getting all your straps, harnesses right. Maybe we'll get into that another day. All right, guys, we're on the back side of the park now, 2.5 miles in, and it's starting to warm up, so we're going to strip off a layer. Talk about point number 2. So point number 2 is set a goal. Goal setting is how we get better. If we don't set goals, we don't aspire to achieve anything greater. We don't push ourselves. So every single time you come out, whether it's a hike, a walk, a run, whatever it is, set a goal. Hey, today I'm only going to do 2 miles, but I'm going to do those 2 miles as fast as I can. Today I'm going to do 10 miles. I'm used to only doing 6 or 7. So every single time, push yourself. Whether it's a little faster, a little longer, or a little heavier, set a goal. Too many people come out and they say, well, I'm going to hike today until I get tired. And there's no easier way to fall short than allowing yourself an out. Yes, there is a big difference between committing to something. If you're doing an out and back and it's 10 miles out, 10 miles back, Well, you just jumped into the deep end of the pool with a weight belt on. Maybe that's not such a good idea. But if you're walking around the track and you say, hey, I want to do 20 miles, every quarter mile you've got an out. So find the happy medium. Don't overcommit. Don't bite off more than you can chew. But set a goal. Today's goal is 20 miles. 20 miles with 30 pounds, that's pretty good. Get better over time. Slowly push your limits. Let your body recover, adapt. The more stimulus you give your body, the harder it is going to be for that body to adapt. Just like weightlifting. You don't just go over and start lifting the 100-pound dumbbells. You got to start off slow. Grab those 10s, 20s, 35s, 50s. Allow yourself time. The smaller the stimulus, more often, generally, gets you the best results. You go out, throw 100 pounds on your back and try to do 30 miles, you're going to crush yourself. Might even injure yourself. And then you're going to be laid up for weeks, maybe months. So, small stimulus, push yourself a little at a time, and try to go more often than once a month. More often. A couple times a week. Start off maybe 2 hikes, 2 runs. Maybe add in a day of active recovery, stretching, flexibility. More stimulus, more often, pushing the limit every time. Check. Oh yeah, definitely got these guys. Saw one of those guys not too long ago at a different park. Oh yeah, all over the place. One more and my bingo card is full. Gosh, I feel like a little old lady down at the community center. So excited. I might win that new ping pong paddle. All right, guys. So, point number 3. Point number 3. Now that we've set a goal, let's talk about pace. We're not going to get into speed. We're not going to get into how to challenge yourself. Just some things to consider. So let's say that we've set a goal of 10 miles. And we're only used to doing 2 or 3. If you do a mile at, say, 15 minutes, and you try to go do all 10 at that same pace, you're going to get gassed. Lower your pace per mile to go further, up your speed per mile, and cut the distance down. Super simple. Super simple. Today, I'm pushing for 20 miles. Every time I go to the gym, I do between 10 and 13. I get out here, I go for a walk. I do usually 10 to 15. I did 20 miles in a day about 2 weeks ago now. It was 90 degrees outside. I was absolutely smoked. Tried to record a video, the last 5-6 miles of it. I was done. Got back, took my pack off, didn't even clean up, laid on the ground because it was the coldest spot I could find, and slept for about an hour. Took me a couple days to recover. Overdid it too much, pushed too hard, wasn't thinking about all those other factors that play into putting down big mile days. So, the more miles you do, drop your pace down. Think about taking breaks more often. Think about all the things that your body needs that we're going to get into in a minute to properly pace yourself. If you're used to doing a couple miles and you're going to go out and do 1 mile, man, you better be running. You better be running. But if you're putting down record mile paces and you're going to go out and do a marathon, well, marathon runners don't carry a pack. They're definitely not pushing 5, 6, 7 minute mile times with an additional 45 plus pounds. So find that happy medium. Let's talk about some other points to that. All right. So last point on pace. We're at 6.84 miles. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe. 6.84 at 2 hours and 13 minutes. So, keeping a pretty decent pace. Usually on a ruck, I aim for about 3 miles an hour. First couple of miles up to about 8 or 9. I beat that. Last couple of miles tend to slow down. And I'm good with that. So on average, under 7 hours is where I'm aiming today for 20 miles. And that's the whole time. The entire time. I don't pause the clock to talk to you guys. I don't pause the clock when I take a break or whatever. So last point on pace. There's a lot of tools that you can use, apps that you can download on your phone. Map My Run is one that I've been using for a lot of years. And it's pretty good. But there are times that you lose service. You still want to be able to track your miles, track your pace. Even maybe so far as land navigation. There's simple tools that you can learn and carry to do that. Every school, land nav that I've ever been to, survival, bushcraft, you can't rely on technology. GPS is nice, but there's valleys, getting behind mountains or down in valleys that you lose signal. So it's not 100% reliable. It's pretty dang good. But there's tools that you can carry. For instance, compass, a watch, something with, digital or analog. It really doesn't matter if you have, minutes and seconds. Then you can get your pace. And pace beads. If you look here on my shoulder, I'm sure you can see these green and orange things hanging off of me. Those are pace beads or ranger beads. Now I'm not going to get into all the finer points and minutia of land nav today. If you want that, let me know. Put it in the comments. I'll do a more of a classroom style video on how to use these things. Miles versus kilometers, pace, tenths, how to use these things, map reading, all that. But those are all good tools to have in your toolbox. Now, if you know where you're going, you know it has cell phone service in the city, you know, for example, you couldn't lose service if you tried. But you get out into the woods, you start going places off trail, not having a map, for instance. You need to know where certain landmarks are. And so it becomes more important to have a pace, a distance, a direction to keep track of not only what you've done, if you're trying to, you know, do a certain mileage that day, but more importantly, getting your way back. It's very easy, even on some dirt trails, when you're coming back doing an out and back hike, to look at something, say, man, that's not the trail I came down. I don't remember this rock. We were gonna turn at the tree, but forget where the tree is. So keeping track of these things becomes more important the further out you get. Locator beacons and SOS beacons. Anyway, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, let me know in the comments, and we'll go a little deeper on that stuff. All right, guys. So the next point, I think we're on 4. Are we on 4? Well, that's just rude. So I think it's 4. Is water. Drink water. I come from probably the last generation of, water's gonna make you soft. I remember playing sports, high school, coach, man, it like a scene out of Varsity Blues. Boy, you drink water when I tell you to. Bullshit, man, bullshit. Drink water. I come from the fire service, worked with a lot of former military guys that were still in, doing reserve or guard, or, you know, spending the last of their career or whatever. Every school that I've been to, you know, hazmat comes to mind. We'd be out on Texas days at 100 degrees plus, wearing a giant Ziploc bag with a window on an SCBA, on air, you know, carrying weight, doing different tasks, containing spills for rail cars or 18-wheelers or whatever it was, 1-ton cylinders, you know. Pretty exhausting task that sometimes took a half an hour, 45 minutes. And we would be pouring sweat in there, so much so that when we came out and went through decon, you could pour the sweat out of each boot. So you're losing massive amounts of water and electrolytes. And the instructor cadre would just be, I mean, they would be pouring water and Gatorade down our throat, almost against our will, you know. Every chance you get, hydrate. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And electrolytes definitely come into play on this one. If you like sports drinks or those little tablets, you know, things to carry around, I put a tablet in a different bottle, a small bottle, so that every couple miles I'll take a swig of that and supplement against the 3 liters of water that I carry, just for instance. So salts, potassium, magnesium, sugar, maybe not, depends on what you're into. But water, constantly drink water. Every couple hundred meters, a half mile, definitely, man. That's what's so convenient about the Camelback, is you can just pop it open, take a quick drink, keep your mouth from getting too dry, instead of getting waterlogged. If you have to stop, grab your bottle, whatever it is, maybe out of your pack, you slam a bunch of water. It takes more time, it's harder on your body to try to process that versus just a slow input. Some people get cramps. Again, fire service stories. I'd come out of, say, a structure fire and down a Gatorade, and I was well known for puking that thing right back up. Man, that thing would be ice cold out of the cooler. I like the yellow ones and the blue ones. And it was almost known, like the guys were waiting for it. I'd down that sucker just being absolutely parched, thirsty. And not 5 minutes later, I'd be over on the side of the house puking it back up. There were definitely some nicknames involved in that whole mess, but slowly drink, constantly. Drink, drink, drink. All right, guys, we're coming up on mile 7.5. Another down and then back. We'll see you down the trail. Whew. Man. So, obviously with hydration comes dehydration. Make sure that you are urinating. That is a key indicator to how hydrated you are, is the color or the smell of your urine. Maybe that's something that nobody wants to talk about. Ah, man. Texting with a backpack. That's gross. You're on here talking about your pee. Man, that's important. When it comes down to self-assessment, medicine, nutrition, when it comes to how your body is functioning and what's going on, that is a key indicator to look at. We'll leave it at that. Maybe someday I'll do a video on hydration, nutrients, pee color, smells. Man, I can't wait for the comments in that one. All right, guys, 7.5 miles. Feeling good, moving good. Haven't had to bust out the trekking poles yet. See you down the trail. Boy, how's that for an opening pose? Sorry, guys. All right, so we just crossed over mile 10. We are at 10.11 miles at 3:20. So we are just under our pace, but barely, and it puts us at halfway. So that's pretty exciting. So halfway, we're gonna stop and stretch and get something to eat real quick, which brings us to our next point number, that one, whatever that is, 5, I think, to food, snacks, to our military brethren out there, our lickies and chewies. Super important, guys, super important. So back to the idea of rucking. You're carrying, 30, 45 pounds maybe, putting down miles consistently. Now, depending on your age, your weight, muscle mass, BFI, how much weight you're carrying, the conditions of the day, conditions on the trail, a lot goes into it. But to throw out some round numbers, you're going to be burning between 100 and 150 calories per mile, which even at the low end puts us up over 1,000 right now. At the high end, 1,500 calories. So, I mean, that's some people's entire daily intake that we just burn through. So getting those nutrients back in to keep yourself going is really important, especially of the 3 macronutrients: carbohydrates, sugars, simple stuff, things that don't take forever to break down, that are calorie dense, that are going to keep you going. Doesn't take a whole lot of time to take in. I like, personally, things that don't melt, things that still taste good no matter the weather, whether it's, too hot, too cold. I don't like chocolate bars. Melted warm chocolate bar is gross. I like Cliff bars, Kind bars, some of the granola bars, Nutri-Grain bars are good. Pop-Tarts, even if they get all crumbly up, they're, good calorie dense quick meals that you can eat on the go or take in while you're taking a quick break, and get you fueled back up. Stay away from fats. Fats take too long to break down, slows your metabolism. It's going to make you feel sluggish, and your body's not going to be able to readily use it. So as you're burning those stores in your muscle, keep them coming in. And just like water, don't get behind the curve on this. This is something that you need to be ahead of. If you wait till you get thirsty, you're already dehydrated. If you wait until you are starved or starting to feel those signs of, man, I'm getting dizzy, lightheaded, narrowed vision, blurred vision, all that stuff, those signs of low blood sugar, man, you're too late. You're behind the curve. And now we're looking at prolonged downtime, rest, and then taking time to get those calories in and be able to get them where they're needed. So stay ahead of the curve on this one. I look at, distance runners or triathletes at what are they using. Sometimes they're carrying gel packs, they've got their water, they've got their Gatorade, whatever, and they're constantly taking in a stream of food, of energy. I've even seen some people use Carbolin, which, if you know anything about nutritional supplements, Carbolin is usually a potato or a rice based, I think, carbohydrate powder that you can, mix up a drink real quick. And that is extremely calorie dense. You can take in 50, 60, 70 grams of carbohydrates, just by downing a quick drink. So stay ahead of the curve on this one. Learn what your body needs, and carry stuff with you. I highly recommend, especially with these big ruck style backpacking bags, they've got the pockets on the sides. Keep this stuff available, just like your water. I keep mine on the hose. Have it accessible on the trail so that you don't have to stop, take your pack off, get in there, get into your bag, get what you need. You are more likely to push those things off if it takes time and effort to get them. I find myself a lot of the times, actually, if I'm carrying a different style bag, something that I actually have to take off and get into, I'll put that stuff off until it's too late. Oh, I'll get a snack around the next turn. I'll get a snack at the top of this hill. I'll get a snack, and then it never ends up happening. So keep that stuff readily accessible. Take out the excuses. Take out the reasons why you're not getting things in that you need. If we take a look here real quick, I'll show you. Having these little side bags right here, carrying things that I need, water, Gatorade, whatever it is, in these quick access side bags on the trail is awesome. It is, it's paramount. I highly recommend getting stuff out of your pockets, walking down the trail and having something else, slapping your thigh all the time just gets annoying. Anyway, so keep stuff out of your pockets. Don't carry your cell phone in there. Don't put your snack in there. Keep the pockets free. Anything that's moving, your arms, it's like having a bracelet on that's constantly, moving and shaking. And carry and wear things that are either loose and have free movement or are tied up against your body. There's no in between. Putting anything that has any weight in a pocket that swings is it's annoying. It really is. So get yourself a decent pack, but we'll get into that another day. All right, guys, so we're going to stretch, We're going to hydrate. We're going to get some licky chewies in. And then we're going to get back down the trail. All right, guys. We are just over 12 miles in. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm hitting my wall. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I still have to get a little ways further down, hit that next park, go all the way back to where I parked, and I've still got one more of these down and out. I don't know. My hips hurt. My knees are feeling it. My quads are tight. And I must have been heel striking bad because, man, my ankles and my heels hurt. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it today. Come back and see me on the next one. We'll see if we got it done or not. Right now, doubtful. It's not looking good. All right, guys, let's cut it here.